All right, hello everybody. Let's see. Oh, there are people there. That's good. I wouldn't blame you if you weren't here, if you didn't show up, because you'll note that there is a stranger in Jessie's camera right now. Indeed, Jessie has been turned into a deer. So those in the Discord will know this. Jessie has been called into jury duty. She set jury duty for this week. She just got called because we have people visiting in coming weeks, and so she thought this would be convenient. And also, since it was so near July 4th, she thought maybe there wouldn't be, as many trials. Had to call in the previous 3 days, which was fine. Today was the first day she was actually called to go in. And so, yeah, she is waiting basically to learn her fate. She survived the first call. And so, but wasn't sent back. Apparently there's going to be another call, and so she's waiting on that. And so for that reason, I have tentatively moved forward with the regular live stream with the understanding that Jessie may come back at some point in time. Of course, this is just a doubly super inconvenient day, because I was looking forward to having some time alone, because I wanted, for my Kopikon presentation, it is partly a surprise even to Jessie, and so I was hoping to have time to work on it on my own in an empty house, but instead I have to be here with you lot. So anyway, we're going to have to figure out something to do in the interim. I'm glad to hear you're alive, Nemo. Anyway, glad Jake is here. Jonathan was so disgusted by the news that they decided they were just out completely. Hang on a second. Got an update here. Okay. Somebody came into the room and they're calling names, which isn't very nice. You should call names. But we're stuck with what we're stuck with. Anyway, but to start us off while we wait, just a little reminder to all and sundry. Actually, I have it set up for the poll, so this is not going to be convenient. But let's see how much you can see there. Well, it's pretty big. But just as a reminder, Kopikon is happening Friday, October 10th at the University of Edinburgh. And we have all the speakers there. I've been going through and announcing them on various social media platforms today. I realize everybody here probably knows about Kopikon. Anyway, and while we are there, we are going to, because I'm planning to have it done. We are going to playtest version 3.0 of Sovála, which is what I've been working on. Wow. Apparently somebody's just coming in the room and calling names in no particular order. Fascinating. Anyway, the reason I pulled this up is that I've been working on cards. I've been doing them all in Keynote. So these are going to be the cards for when you actually play. By the way, we hadn't decided yet. This is the font I designed for Bibliridian, and I designed it so that it could handle any character. And so, does it feel doggish to you? Is the question. Anyway, and then the big blank space is where the art will go. These are the actual character cards, included the dreaded Kanamos, where, you know, so this is what you'll be looking at most of the game. It has your stats and things that you can do. Something that I really like the look of, but that was very difficult to do, is putting this white background behind these icons. And it was difficult to do, but it was worth it because these things are always in the same place, right? Here, they're not in the same place. And these are just big text boxes. And they sometimes occur in different font sizes. And so it would be very difficult to put a white background behind every single one of those icons, but I've determined that it's probably a good idea to do so. And so that'll be another busy work section, or a busy work session, probably multiple sessions. And then lastly, we have the new and improved spell cards. These happen to be the Bard cards. I have yet to decide to design the new trap cards or the new. I'm going to make cards for the abilities that tanks have, but these are the spell cards. And the most difficult thing is figuring out if they're balanced properly. And really the only way to do that is to play test it. And so it's a shame because I would like them perfected before we print out anything, but you need to print out something to play test. Anyway, so that's where we're at with that. Who does what things? The arrow is a backwards capital F. That's pretty good. Let's see. I'm trying to read through chat here. Oh, I see. I mean, there's one thing in terms of how it looks on the card, but then another in terms of how they actually do the typeface of it. See, in this case, I know how I would need to do it. You just need to, you know, copy this, paste it. I think I have one that doesn't have, yeah, I have one that doesn't have anything. And then you make this white. We're still showing, yeah. And then you, is it increasing the size or do I add an outline? Let's try adding an outline first. You're gonna add a 4-point, and then you line it up so that it lines up with the thing behind it, and you put it back, but we need it not that far back. It needs to come forward, and Bob's your uncle. And that mostly worked. I wonder if we can... Well, not that. I thought I was still selecting the previous one. Uh-oh. Okay, now I'm on it. Now I'm on it. Oh, I forgot the other thing is back there. But as you can see, this is probably a poor card to do it on. It's like, it's not perfect, which is really frustrating. Because I like things to be perfect if they can be. Anyway, you see what I'm up against. And of course, with this, the outline is going to push into this little thing here, and so I'd have to reduce all the font size. Whole bunch of work. Okay. Oh no, Jessie's name was called. What does that mean? This is desperate times here. I hope everybody's holding their breath, because you should be. All right. Jessie has been called. She's standing outside a courtroom. And so I don't know if she's going to be back for this stream. Very frustrating. Anyway, anime fan, glad you got a chance to see Elemental. Elemental like barely features our language at all, which is a shame. It's in there, but the thing I really liked about Elemental is because it's kind of its B story, if you consider the A story the romance plot line. The B story is that civic government is important, and if you engage with it, it functions well, which is not something that you see in a lot of movies. I thought that was nice. Anyway, so for those who are either not American or haven't been through this process themselves, when you're called in for jury duty, the way it works nowadays is that you're on call for 5 days in a week, and then you're off for a year. Jessie just has the worst luck. She was called in for jury duty and served on a jury last January. And usually when they say, you get 12 months until they call you again, usually it's like 2 years. She got called again right away. Anyway, and so when you're called in for jury duty, you go to a courthouse and you sit there. Also, this may differ state by state and by area. So this is what it's like in a more urban area. And so you go into like a big room and you sit there and you wait, usually for your group number to be called. Everybody's assigned these random group numbers. And then they call however many groups or people they need in order to get enough to winnow a jury down. And if they call you, then you go stand outside a courtroom, stand in line outside a courtroom. And you do need to be a citizen to be on a jury, and then they bring you into the courtroom and sit you in the place where the audience would be, so people that were not involved in a court case, but it is an actual courtroom. Then they call 12 of you up to sit in the jury box. Is it 12 or 14? Because I know they need 2 alternates. I don't know if it fits. They might call 14 up. And then the attorneys who are present and the judge will go through and ask questions of random jurors. Things like, the first one that the judge will ask, because it's very important. The judge will ask, they'll explain what the case is and who the plaintiff and the defendants are. And this basically they'll ask, does anybody know these people? Because if you know the people, then obviously you are not allowed to sit on the jury, because it's guaranteed probably that you're not going to be impartial. And so if you happen to know the person that is involved, or if it's a company, if you work for that company, then you'll be excused. And that includes people in the audience. Anyway, after that, then they ask specific questions like what your job is, what you think of the type of crime that's alleged to have been committed, and so on. And then the each attorney has a certain number of people they can excuse without having to give a reason. They say, I don't want this person on the jury, and then they excuse them. Anyway, the only time I have gotten that far, I was sitting in the audience of the courtroom and was not called up into the stands, and they settled on the jury before I was ever called up. At that point in time, you're dismissed and you can go home and you're done for a year. Anyway, so that is where Jessie is at present. And so, I mean, last time she was called on to a jury, I just hope that she can dodge it this time. And also, if this goes somewhat expeditiously, there's a chance she might make it for some of the stream. So, anyway, the last few times I've gotten jury duty, I've put the call into the week after Christmas because they never do anything then, and indeed it's worked out both times. So, something to stick in your cap in case you want to avoid it in future. Anyway, apologies that I will be silent while reviewing chat. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting, Magpie. Because in California, this is probably state by state, you do not get a jury fee until you have served at least 2 days. In other words, if you serve 1 day and then go home, you get nothing. This is very interesting to me, by the way. Matthijs says, in the Netherlands, there are no juries. So, like, how does that work? Is there just two lawyers and a judge? And doesn't that give the judge an inordinate amount of power? Which is not something you really want if you look at what's happened with judgeships around the country in the United States, for example, for the past 12 years. Wow. Wow, $15 per half day plus an extra $2 for parking. Incredible. We certainly don't get reimbursed for parking. Anyway, oh, 3 judge panels. Well, that's not as bad. Anyway, we'll probably be waiting a little bit because everybody needs to be filed in. The judge needs to explain things, and then they need to get down to the actual procedure. So if they get a jury early, like they did the one time that I was in there, then my guess is Jessie could be home by 3:15, which honestly would be great. We can still do actual stream stuff. We can get our coordinator handled, because that was where we were headed next. If it doesn't happen quickly, then, you know, chances are she's looking at getting home at like 4:45, maybe 5. Yeah. Anyway, so you know, something I would love to do is get feedback on these darn cards to see if they're actually balanced or not. Oh, forgot to quit Discord. Mm. 520, you know what that means. Wow, India abolished juries as well? That's such a wild idea. I don't know, I would say to most Americans. Alright, anyway. Because see, where my brain has been when I'm not doing anything else is I have been trying to get the formatting down for these cards and to really settle on balance for these spells. Also, just like iconography and things, you know, making sure that things actually make sense. Because there's something, and I'll show you what this is. There's something that doesn't work right now. And actually, I would love, I would love everybody's advice on this if you'll indulge me. What's the one I was thinking of? Okay, I think I settled that. But there was a particular spell that wasn't. This is a very good example. This is a great example. All right, so I hope everybody can see this. It's pretty clear. Yeah. Okay, so this thing right here. This is basically supposed to tell you where the spell occurs and who it affects. And the way that this works, so this spell, Thorns, and by the way, the reason there's 3 of these is basically there's going to be 3 copies of this spell. And you can decide if you have all 3 of them, let's say. You can decide if you want to cast it at level 1, in which case you just play 1 card, or level 2, in which case you play 2, or level 3, in which case you play all 3. The issue with spells is that once they are played, you have to do something to get them back in order to use them again. So if you have 3 of these, for example, you could use the spell 3 times at level 1, or do a big one at level 3. And it's kind of up to you. Anyway, but importantly, this right here tells you the area of effect of the spell. If there's a target, what that's supposed to mean is that you play the spell on any square. If it's yellow, it means this spell can be played on any square on the entire board. Whether there's another unit standing there, whether that unit is a friend or a foe, whether it's just an open space, or whether it's an impassable region. You can center it there, and then the idea is that only enemies get attacked with this, so not friends. But also, if there happens to be an enemy there, they are supposed to be affected as well. And now you see the problem. Because it's not clear if this thing right here, if it happens to be an enemy, if they're affected, if it happens to be a friend, if they're affected, you can infer that, well, if it's only enemies around here, then it's probably an enemy in here, but you shouldn't have to infer that. It should be quite clear. And thus, we have hit upon the problem. So, that is a current issue. Like, I didn't think of it when I came up with this system. I put this system in place for all abilities across the entire game, didn't think about it again, and then it was when I was comparing 2 spells one spell where it was supposed to hit everybody, and another spell where it was only supposed to hit everything around and not the thing in the middle. And I realized I didn't have a way to distinguish that. So, any thoughts? The idea with the target was that if it was green, it could only be placed in open space. If it was yellow, it could be placed anywhere. And if it was red, it could only be placed on something impassable, I guess? Or an enemy? I don't know. But the whole point of using a target and not a person is that it could be placed on the ground. Because there are other spells. This is a great example. So this spell, the brown is you. And so the idea is you're not affected, but people around you are affected. Same thing here. In this case, it can be, the spell needs to be centered on an enemy. So you find an enemy, you put it on that enemy, and if there are any enemies around, they're affected as well. And I'm not sure if that is clear, or how to make it clear. We're talking about the dots in the 3x3 grid. Yeah, so there's... oh, they don't? Is this mouse right now, is it over the brown circle with the 4 red dots around it? I thought I was tracing it. I guess I wasn't. Am I tracing it now? This is the hard part. I can't. Here, I'm going to pull up YouTube on my phone so that I can see comments. Oh, I could also pull up YouTube on my phone just to see. Oh, so I was making a mistake. Okay. All right, fair enough. We've got this sorted now. Okay. All right, so to go back, in this one, the idea for using the target instead of the person is that this spell can be placed anywhere on the board. It can be centered on a unit, but it could also be centered on a blank space on the field, which is something that might be useful. For example, you can imagine, so the range is between 0 and 2 squares. You can imagine that you have an enemy that's 3 squares away, right? And so if you can place this on just an empty square on the ground, then you can hit that enemy. If, however, this spell had to be put on a unit, then it would be out of range. That's why the distinction is useful, and I'd like to keep it. In this case, the brown little critter is supposed to be yourself. That's why the range is 0, 0. And the red dots are enemies only. Here, the idea is that you should not be affected, only the people around you. Here, this is centered on an enemy who is affected. The issue with this one is that if there happened to be an enemy in the yellow target, they should also be in fact affected. That was the intent. However, it's not clear. I was hoping to make this as compact and easy to read as possible, and I don't think that I achieved that. Especially because if the range for this is 0, 0, then this is obvious. In other words, if the range is 0, obviously you're the center of it. Anyway. No, everybody knows Ace Attorney, I think. See, now Bubba's saying, just in case you put it in the booklet, I'd be fine. Which is technically true, except that right now these are ambiguous. And I think I can show you an example of how it's ambiguous, unless I've already changed it. No, that's... And see, this now... Oh, crap. Now, this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't follow what I just described. I had said that the green target was for an open area of land. But that's not what this is for. This is suggesting that it hits... Oh, shoot. Okay. Okay. I think I had a system in place and then I forgot what it meant. Because I think this makes sense. In other words, I think that this one, they should be red. Because otherwise it wouldn't make sense that the red arrow would exist. Or the red target would exist. Crap. Okay. Okay. I've got it. Target means anywhere. Unit means person. But like, to give you an example of what I meant, here you have your little person in the center and you're not affected. But here you have your little brown person in the center and obviously you're affected because there's no one else. You're the only one that's affected. And so the little brown person, it always stands for you, yourself, your unit. But sometimes it means you are not affected, and sometimes it means you are affected. That's a problem. That's a problem. Okay. And I do have a bunch of these, by the way, in case you're wondering. They're all over here that I made to copy and paste. But it looks like I did not make any red targets. And in fact, based on the understanding I just gave, these don't make any sense. And neither do these. It should just be yellow with yellow because it's hard to imagine a spell that affects anybody in the center but only enemies or friends outside of the center. That's just weird. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I think Danielle is making a lot of sense here. I thought it would be convenient to have a color that meant yourself, but the issue is that 0, 0, like if that's the range, the 0 is the minimum range and 0 is the maximum range, then it's always yourself. So this is redundant. So the brown isn't needed. You could just use green or yellow or red. Okay. Gosh, I want to be writing this down, but I am using my little pad as ballast. I agree that redundancy isn't inherently bad, but, you know, unfortunately, it's not buying us anything here. sec. I'm gonna well, the thing is, there are ways that you can look at things and see how they show up with different types of color blindness. And the thing is, all they need to do is be different. And so, like, you can, if you render it, honestly, it looks fine. It doesn't necessarily look like red and green, but they look different enough to distinguish, which is the key. Okay, hold on a sec. Hey, Carl. And hey, Madeline. So to fill you in, the reason that you're only seeing me here is that Jessie has jury duty. And we weren't sure if she would make it back in time. I'm still holding out hope that she is going to make it back. Anyway, she is to kind of update everything. I love it. Danielle says, well, Jessie's still not here. I'm leaving. Understood. Understood and fair. And, you know, poor Jessie. She really thinks that nobody would be here if it wasn't for me. And I'm like, maybe people came for me, but they're staying for you. Oh, you do have to go. Oh, stay grammar, Danielle. Yeah, that's also a thing that I was talking about earlier, Nemo. I was going to give him a white background. But anyway, shoot, what was I saying? Oh yeah, right now the place that we're at is Jessie's called, you know, with a big group of people in the courtroom, and they're starting the process of winnowing down the jury. So, fingers crossed. Last time Jessie was there, it didn't go well in that she actually was on the jury, which was a bummer. Anyway. By the way, before moving on to something else, I did want to show you one thing and ask you about it. Especially Matisse, who seems on board. Bubba, are you the one who feels that you're keeping tabs on me going off on tangents? Is that you? Oh, Madeline. I have Everdell right there. And we also have Wingspan. So me and Jessie and my ex-wife Erin combined have a very large board game library, and in fact we have a spreadsheet. It's not even up to date. There have been more games gotten since then, but we have everything from, like, you know, what type of game it is, if it's an expansion or a base, how many players there are. Used to have a column for if it was Meridian friendly, but Meridian is old enough that we've gotten rid of that column. I have added rankings for each of us, so each of us gives it its own rating. There are more than 80 games on this list. And we do have a view-only version, so I could totally share that with you. Oh, you know what? We also have a stream where nothing else is happening. Hang on a sec. Oh, wait. I gotta find it first. Hold on. There is, by the way, a new game I just learned about in the Wingspan universe called Wormspan, which I'm very interested in. All right, here we go. So this is the this is our board game catalog, and so as you can see, there are quite a few here. Oh wow! Looks like we're up to what's the first one? 187 games. Finspan with fish. But yeah, here we go. You can see. Oh, we have length, whether it's co-op, base, Euro Party. We have a link to the Board Game Geek entry, extra notes. And the base, like players, the number of players is really good for when you have like a whole bunch of people over for games. Some of our favorite ones that have a lot. Well, Hues and Cues, that one's very simple, easy to get into, always fun. But what's the one I'm thinking of? Saboteur. Saboteur is one of our favorites for big groups. Love Saboteur. And you know, I've always been curious to play, because theoretically, Villainous, you can play it with as many people as you have boards. And I've always wanted to play a really big game of Villainous. I don't know. It seems like the folks around me are not as interested in Villainous as I am. I think it's great. I've never won. Never even come close to it. But I love it. I like, you know, I like being Ratigan and having the robot queen. It's so much fun. Yeah, I put D&D books in there. And there's another fun game. It's called, technically the name of it is Welcome to, and that's it. But it's like, it's called Welcome to Your New Home. Like, I think that's the idea. And everybody gets a sheet of paper that has like a housing track on it. And then you deal up like 3 cards. And the thing is, everybody marks what their strategy is going to be on their paper. And so you can have as many people play as you want. All they have to do is just go and take a look at the 3 cards that are turned up and mark it on their own sheet. And so that's a really good one for like a big number of players. Ooh, Madeline's got a recommendation. Flourish, haven't heard of it. Oh, I can play hearts. I'm good at hearts. And incidentally, by the way, for a little back up here, like the whole reason that we're doing languages on LangTime Studio is for this board game that I'm making, and so that is actually what we have been looking at for the past little bit, because the plan is at Kopikon we're going to have the 3rd version of the game ready for playtesting. Both the 1st and 2nd versions were good. There were certain things that didn't work. And so I'm hoping that this time around it's actually going to work. By the way, a fun one for just jumping in is cockroach poker. That's a really fun one. Jesse's friend Kay got it for us. But you don't like Uno Flip? I don't think I've played Uno Flip. We recently played Trivial Pursuit, the... Hang on a sec. I gotta check something. Yeah, it is. It is. Okay. All right, I was just double checking that it is Trivial Pursuit, the Genus edition, not the Genius edition. But yeah, it is Genus edition. This is the Trivial Pursuit that I grew up with. That was, I can't remember if it was 1983 or 1984, but that's when it came out, and that's the one I played growing up. We played this again recently. So much fun. So many answers are USSR. But the backbreaker for me is the sports and leisure category, which I'm a sports guy. Ordinarily, that's kind of a slam dunk for me. There are so many questions about horse racing, boxing, and then cocktails, like alcoholic beverages, and like there was another question about cigars and cigar making. Like that's the leisure in sports and leisure in the old Trivial Pursuit. I think they've kind of gone away from that in recent years. 1981, that was the year I was born. I wonder if I have a reprint though, because I'm sure they reprinted and then like added new cards and stuff. Because I remember things about sports that I knew. When did Wayne Gretzky start playing? Was it 80? Did he win a Stanley Cup in his rookie year? I can't remember. Genus 2 was 19... Well, maybe that's the one I have. I don't know. I would go out and get it again, but it's stacked underneath other boxes, and I just don't feel like it. Anyway, so... Put that back. And I just want to do a really quick check. Jessie has not texted again. Oh no. Anyway, so there was one thing I wanted opinions on. Since I've introduced you to the targeting system in the game. All right. This attack, so just this attack specifically, I think it's pretty straightforward in that, you've got a lance, and so you can hit something directly in front of you or 2 squares away from you, and you hit anything that's in between you and something 2 squares away. But I didn't know how best to indicate that using the thing, so that was what I did. And it says it right there. Anyway, if you have thoughts on that. Oh, Mateus, you have not won the dumbest chess game ever unless you've played me. And I look forward to it. You and we will play chess at Kopikon too. And I want everybody to watch, because I don't think that you will have seen a game as badly played as the game that I'm going to play against you. I challenge you to your biggest, most lopsided victory of all time. Your most humiliating, crushing victory. where at the end of it, it's not even going to be funny. You're going to look at me and say, like, do you even understand what's going on in this game? And I tell you, I know all the rules. I know all the rules of chess. I will not break a rule, but I will not win. That I can guarantee you. The deer went out of focus. Oh, dear. It did! Why is it all blurry? That's weird. And then Matisse is all, I'm pretty sure I've had worse challengers. No. No, don't insult me. You haven't had worse challengers. This will be your worst. I am your worst. You bring everything that you've got. And in fact, you bring nothing. And I will still leave you dumbfounded at how bad I could possibly be. Okay. I keep hoping Jessie's got to get out of this. She's got to get out of this. She can't possibly serve on 2 juries in 2 years. That's ridiculous. All right. But this is what we're going to do in the meantime. There must be some conlangery to be had. Speaking of which, if anybody who is not people that we know already is still here or still watching the replay, don't forget to tune into live conlanging every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. for Let's Have a Booba with Jake and Miles. This coming Tuesday, which will be July 15th, they're going to have a special guest from the extended Boobaverse, Jonathan, who is not here because Jessie is not here, and we understand and respect them for that. Also, every Saturday at 6 a.m. Pacific, these are all Pacific time, 6 a.m. Pacific, the conlangery spin-off Tongues and Runes, where George creates languages for D&D races. And then be sure to tune into Carl's Neography A to Z, which has videos that come out every other Friday, and then also some stuff. Carl has done some live streams, in fact, but it's more focused on releasing completed videos. Just like our friend Bibleridian, who I assume is not here out of protest. And understood. Madeline James mentioned popcorn. All I can think about is popcorn. Also, Madeline James has a world-building YouTube channel that is definitely worth checking out. And this September, the weekend of September 26th and through 28th, by the way, gosh, Jessie's not here, but something was happening on that weekend, and Jessie couldn't remember what it was. That was it. And so it's fine. Meridian was talking about going to a camp. Great. Perfect timing, honestly. Anyway, that weekend, Madeline James is going to be hosting an all-weekend world-building event where lots of us are going to be giving presentations or doing live streams related to world building. Jessie and I are going to be doing 2 of them. Let's Have a Booba crowd is going to be there. Bibleridian is going to be there. Artifexian is going to be there. And so is Matisse, otherwise known as McCain and L. Conlangery as well. And it's September 5th through 7th, not September 26th through 28th. That's a really different date. What was I thinking? Wow, very different. So I hope people weren't watching for that, heard the date, and then just shut it off and left. September 5th through 7th. Anyway, yeah, and there's like I don't. The original Kopikon date was September 23rd. So yeah, I don't know about September 26th or 28th. Something was happening. I really feel like something was happening. What that something was, I just don't know. Anyway, to do a little bit of actual conlanging, I realized that something we could do is go through and add words to our Loh Akish Fox dictionary. How do we fix the... Like, why did it blur all of a sudden? It's bothering me now. Like, do I need to... If I give him a little pet, does that help? No. Move the... Well, I did. But the thing is, I never moved it in the first place. It was clear. Shout out Mateus's sister. Happy birthday, September 1st. You know, my friend Scott's birthday is September 4th. Mine is January 20th, and these were interesting birthday dates because January 20th is usually right on or right next to the day we celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. And so there was usually a long weekend at school. And so for my birthday, a lot of times friends would come over and spend the night, and we would just have kind of like a 2-day event for my birthday. Scott's birthday was September 4th, which was usually right on or near Labor Day. And back when we were going to school, school started the Tuesday after Labor Day. And so Scott's birthday was always the last hurrah of summer. We would go, enjoy ourselves, and then lock in for the school year. What? Madeline's going to an Avatar The Last Airbender concert on the 28th? Somewhere in Virginia? My goodness. That is really cool. So here's the problem. I didn't move this thing. Like, it was working. It's found something in the background that it's focusing on, or something. I don't know. Oh man, Madeline, did you not hear about Kopikon 1 that was in Georgetown? Like, you could have been there. It would have been cool. Damn it, Magpie. Simply got tired of being perceived. You are near DC, Bubba. This is true. Jake did traverse an ocean. And now Kopikon is traversing an ocean for Jake. All right. So, 3 p.m. Nothing. Man. Okay. So yeah, this is what we're going to do. We're going to enter some words. I'm not even going to dignify that with a response, Bubba. Because I know what plans you had on that day outside of Kopikon that got rained out. This is really cool for this language, by the way. Avval versus avval. That's really neat. Okay. Have we entered all the pronouns? Because I remember that was an issue last time. We have second person singular, first person singular, and that's it. We gotta enter more of those. We gotta enter more of those guys. Okay. Hi. I think that's... Wasn't the protoform over in Hauhoff, wasn't it har? For first person plural? Instagram notification making me think it was Jessie. I forgot to ask if everybody can hear me all right. Okay, it's huh. I do hope so, but one never knows. All right, adding to the H's. Good. Yeah, what am I saying? Of course you would have told me. You always tell me. I'm really grateful for everybody that comes to our streams. It's such a wonderful thing. And both Jessie and I feel extraordinarily lucky. Oh, that's right. Patrick found out about Jessie and just bolted. So Jake wrote, he must be slacking off, and I just read it out of the corner of my eye, and I thought Jake wrote, he must be stacking elf. And I thought that was, I perfectly accepted that that was some British expression that I was completely unaware of, and I was all set to hear what the heck it meant. Okay, second person plural is something with two. Well, have a nice time, George. Happy conlanging. Oh, Bibleridian is here. Perhaps confused and disappointed. How long have you been here, Bib? Okay, cool. Jake, you wrote by George. Get rid of the first E, and that's quite a different thing. By George. Oh, well, now I'm super interested. Bibleridian, I've had you on in the background while I work on these damn precipitation maps for the umpteenth time. Precipitation maps. Everything, anytime you mention something you're doing, it sounds both incredibly tedious and quite intriguing at the same time. You can't even imagine what's in my head. And I can't imagine what's in yours. Precipitation map. Like, give us more details on this. I always felt like umpteenth and umpire were related somehow. Oh, Bibb says Madeline James can give you a much better rundown than I can. Incidentally, I think that is one form of precipitation, a rundown. I don't even, like, nobody's even explained what this is. I have no idea what a precipitation map is. What are you talking about? Like, literally, what? What even is that? What a delightful language this is. And then I believe that's going to be... Oh, yeah. It's a map of precipitation. It rains everywhere. And that's another thing that I want one of you to explain to me. What exactly does it mean, percent chance of rain? Does that mean that, like, if there's a 20% chance of rain, then if you go outside, there's a 20% chance that you're going to get rained on? All right, precipitation map is mapping levels of precipitation across the globe, which in combination with temperature, you can determine the evaporation and the amount of water for the system, climate, and biomes, and yada. If there's a lot of rain and it would all evaporate, you've got... If there's not a lot of rain and it would all evaporate, you've got desert. Okay. Make sure I got that right. It's... Yep. Okay. Good. All right, Tofta, you all. Got our first T word, knocked that out. So let's go ahead and enter that in the dictionary. You, plural. See, I heard that the percent is area coverage as well, but I still don't understand that. Why do they call that a chance? Why do they call it a chance? Shouldn't it be like 20% of the city is going to get rain? And even then, why don't they just get more specific and say this area And they just show you a map. And then like that one, that's where the rain is. It just is not a useful metric for folk like me. Lakfa. What do you think that is? I think this was the problem we had last time. We never wrote down the etymology of these. And so we figured out first and second person, which is good, and they're in there now. We've got that. But we don't have the slightest idea what's going on with third. Key is fox. I know that. What is ITCZ? That's the second time you've used that acronym. How dare you use an acronym twice without explaining it? They mix up the terms warming and watch. Wow. Intertropical convergence zone. So intertropical is worthy of IT, but convergence isn't worthy of CV. Speaking of which, wearing my cones of Dunshire. Okay, you know what? I see what's going on for third person singular, so I think I'm going to do that. Don't you be sassing me. Okay. Oh, because I comes after F. Got it. Oh, but it comes before, nothing comes before something. I learned that from the librarian that that gave presentations at my high school. She gave a library presentation that I sat through twice, and said regarding alphabetization, when it came to using a card catalog, nothing comes before something. And so I've always remembered it ever since. It's actually completely wild that I cannot remember her name right now. She was at that high school when my mother was there. And she had a joke, which I didn't think was funny, that she did every single time. She said, I do not repeat myself. I repeat, I do not repeat myself. And yeah, I just didn't think that was funny. But, you know, bless her heart, she taught me something that I have remembered to this day. Miles saying, howdy y'all, I know I'm not going to get first in the rankings, so I may as well just leave now. Like, so I totally understand what and why they're doing what they're doing, you know, with the rankings. Hold on a second. It's in singular. What do you call a non-obviative pronoun? So in other words, in a system where there's obviative and non-obviative, like what do you call non-obviative? Regular? No Jessie plus no crown, no reason to be around. Proximate, thank you. Third person, singular, approximate personal pronoun. I'm going to copy this before I delete this because I want to remember what that formatting is like. Anyway, what I was going to say, I understand what YouTube is doing. They like the kind of engagement that happens on Twitch, and so this is just a fun thing that they wanted to add. But they're also trying to use it for marketing, and like, so they have this weird cap where it's like, you know, every single hour you can only get 75 experience. But like, you know, I would say most streams do not actually have people paying to get into stuff very often. And so consequently what they added is just pointless and boring. Like it's just you know, the experience thing, it's kind of a little game, but it's a really, really boring game where it's like, okay, we're going to do an 8-foot race. Everybody race, and we'll say who was first, second, and third, but also if you all finish the 8-foot race, you all get credit for finishing it. And so then it's like, well, that's just really dumb. What they should do is, if they wanted to incentivize people paying money to jump ahead in the rankings and things like that, they should make it percentage based. So in other words, like, let's say you jump into a stream and you're an hour and a half late. People have actually been getting a lot of experience, and so it actually does matter, and there is a real leaderboard there. If you, like, you know, pay for a super, let's say, it gives you, like, I don't know, 75% of the experience of whoever the top earner is, you know, something like that. And so then it's just, it's determined based on the amount of experience that's already been generated, rather than doing this stupid thing. Because, like, it's just a bizarre little annoyance. It's like, I don't know, if you get my sense of it, it's like, okay, yeah, we don't care about the rankings, but we all like games, and essentially it's just a little game. But it's so dumb. It's such an easy game. And so that makes it boring, which just makes it an annoyance. It's like, say, hey, I have a new board game. It's, you know, it's a 2-card game. One of them is red and one of them is blue. Guess if it's red or blue. And that's it. That's the entire game. I don't know. Anyway, frustrates me. Jake with the timely, what were we saying about tangents? Fine. Get back to my langin'. Wait a minute, where was stress in this language? No. This is right. Okay. That is such a good joke, Jake, but you have to see it. You have to see it in order for it to make sense. To see that it's both LangTime Studio and LangTime Studio at the same time. By the way, I just want to point this out. On the one side, you have joke. On the other side, you have jape. The logical middle. Jake. All right. Obvious. Thank you, Mateus. All right, added to there. Jope is the shortening for jumping rope. You know, hey guys, want a jope? Nice dynamite. All right. Boom. Wow. That is that is a name, Mateus. For English speakers, just looking at that, it looks like an utterly silly name. But of course, in Dutch, it's Joop, right? Or it's Dutch. What am I saying? It's probably. But what does Joop mean? What's its etymology? Now Lakfa. Oh, right, run. Oh, is that how it comes out? It is how it comes out. Okay. Oh! Joop is a shortening of Jozef. How interesting. Still no text from Jessie. So sad about this. So, you know. Your pool. Wow. And what is pool from? Because it looks like our pool. Lakfa. The heck? What the heck? Ah! Ah! Okay, Lakfa. And the protoform is Lakwa. Okay. Nope. They. Third person plural personal pronoun. Lakva. We've entered all the pronouns. Nice. Why are there a lot of last names that mean from Poland? Like, for example, isn't that one of the etymologies for the last name Pole? You know, as in Jill Pole from Narnia. And then There's also the names Filipenko and Filipek. Wait, I think I'm getting confused. I don't think those mean from Poland. I think I got myself confused. Never you mind. Never you mind. All right. So we got the pronouns done. What I would like to do now is enter something in J-O-N-P. J. We have J in this language? Oh, we do. Oh, look at that. How the heck did we end up with that? You don't like your name, McCain? All right. Let's find some words. I think P is going to be easiest. P is not going to be easiest. Oh, I forgot. Oh my God, this is the language where we did like K to P, wasn't it? Holy smokle doodle. Okay, hold on one second. That's it. You know that song? Oddly enough, I only know the Cheap Trick version of it, which is honestly a pretty faithful cover. Don't be cruel. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. That one. Oh wow, what does that come out as? Kvav. It's kind of funny. Kvav. But we need something like, ooh, what about this one? What does Q come out as? Fad. Never mind. Because of the E, we need something that with a back vowel. And not an R. Oh my God, do we not have anything? Do we not have anything? Let's try this. Grass. Got it. Okay. Got our first P word. It's going to be grass. Quoa comes out as bowl in this language of ours. I was too lazy to put up Lexergy. I was just throwing in some forms and checking them. Like, I wasn't doing a whole thing, so I figured that was okay. Grass. Yeah, that looks right. Something further done. Got a text message, but from a friend. Not from Jessie. Still have not heard from Jessie. Ah! I did it again. I did it again. Oh my gosh. Stop thinging. Stop thinging. Do the normal thing. My goodness. Nothing funny about this word. All right. P is done. Now, O. Does O like raise or something? I feel like O raises. No, it doesn't. Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. Okay. The word for face is just O-E. It's also antiquated. So it could be normal. OE comes out as U. So that's not actually a helpful word. But you know what? Let's enter it anyway. Because it's fun. This is awesome. So the word for face is U. I should put this over here. So if you have a rhubarb face, you would have an U. Oh my god, I couldn't even finish that. Okay, rhubarb face has to be an insult. Oh my gosh. Incredible. It's a pretty great insult anyway. Oh man, now I'm thinking about that rhubarb pie Jessie made me. I said I never had one, and so she made a rhubarb pie. It was so good. Oh, that was good. Just incredible. All right, so now a real O word. Because stock didn't work, face didn't work. Did I enter face? I did not. Seed. This has got to work. It's what? Oh, that was entered wrong in the protoform. There we go. Fixed that. And ought over at Lexergy comes out as oat. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. That is seed. I'm going to enter it first. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. All right. What? And then... No! There we go. What? And that's seed. One more. J. Now I really don't remember how we get J. my guess is that it's going to be something like this. What? It was. Thank you. Okay. I don't remember how we get J. Like, literally. Does anybody remember how we get J? All of our palatal sounds become alveopalatal thus. Okay. How do we get that? Oh, it's only the velar ones. The velar ones are the ones that become palatal, not the alveolar. So I shouldn't have been looking at the D's. I should have been looking at the G's. Oh, no. I don't think we have it. We don't. We don't have anything starting with G. I wonder if this. I wonder if this was unconsciously an old Gwader throwback. You know, in Gwader, I had an assimilation process whereby voiced stops picked up a W in front of front vowels. That's why it's Gwader. Whereas if it were a back vowel, it would be like, you know, goider or guider. I just saw like you can change a consonant in front of a vowel, and so here we go. So, so yeah, we have never come up with one that would lead to a word beginning with ja, and so I think we should. We need a Hauhoff root. Starts with GE, can end with any consonant, and it's going to become a Loh Akish word. Throw out anything. Ideas for basic roots, final consonants, or vowels, because it could be a vowel-vowel sequence, whatever. Haven't heard from Jessie yet. It's actually not a bad idea. Yeah, lift doesn't need to be basic, and that is pretty good. Let's do it. Apparently, game comes out as Jeem. So first thing, let's add it to Hauhoff. Need a verb that we're going to borrow. This one is good. And there shouldn't be any change in Halgoff, right? It should just be game. Gonna jump over to Lexergy real quick just to make sure that there's no surprises in Halhoff. There are none. Okay, so then that will be oh, hang on. The update from Jessie is that this is going very slowly. She's not like been questioned or anything yet, but it's just going slow. So she thinks it's going to take all the rest of the day. And likely Monday as well. I wonder if that means that it's not tomorrow. But honestly, worse news. Anyway, so it sounds like they're probably not going to have finished selecting a jury for the rest of the day, which means that it sounds like I think Jessie has a good reason to believe that she wouldn't be selected for this jury, but she's not going to be given the opportunity perhaps until late. Sounds like it's going to be picking up on Monday, not tomorrow, if I understand things correctly. This is very frustrating. Hey, remember all these numbers we did? What time that was. Also, those are wrong. Okay, so now boy, what a time you're having, Madeline. Where did you think we were? Japan? Because like in Hawaii right now, it's 12:46. Jake, you don't know Hawaii time? Ends with M. Ends with M. Oh no, that was wrong. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's not a noun, that's a verb. Ah, I did it again. Ah! Oh, dang. Oh, I didn't enter this verb. Probably should. All right, to bash and to bonk is from that. I want coffee too. I want coffee all the time. It tastes so good. Jessie makes me the best coffees. I can't remember if I've shared this, but I had to stop drinking coffee. And it's made me really, really sad. Jessie now makes me one coffee a week. I look forward to it every week. But that's all, unfortunately, my system is able to handle. And it apparently doesn't even matter if it's caffeinated or not. Show. How does that show come out? Gun ho. What a friendly deer. Okay, to bash, to bonk, that's good. And now for the big news. Jeem. And that is game. And it is to lift, to raise, and we've got one word starting with each letter. Game. No, Jeem. Forgot which language I was in. All right. It's 3:51. I have accomplished something now, so I'm going to have a Kopikon. And then I will leave one over there for Jessie. I will leave it on the deer's nose for when she comes back, because she will need one as well. Kopikon. You're never lonely with Kopikon. Not true. I usually do it with this, don't I? Oh, it's all messed up anyway. Oh, where I got off the. Anyway, I think that we should go ahead and resolve the poll as well. So let's do that. So the poll was about, it wasn't about specific forms, but basically whether we were going to do Haugauf coordination, which uses the same comitative, the same form for the comitative as it does for coordination. Or, so that was A. When we have that phrase, it would be onala, or rather onalai, and then it would be like the Loh Akish version of that. Or do a different one that was also going to be comitative and a conjunction, but just not from that phrase. Or a new coordinator, but we go ahead and use onala for the comitative. Anyway, this poll was weird at the beginning. Like really weird, like there was a winner in each of the 3 different polls. But it all came out in the wash. It was very, very simple. Third place was B, practically no votes. Second place was Haugauf coordination, but the big winner was C, to come up with a new thing. So that'll be what we do next when Jessie comes back. She's a big fan of coordination, and I know she liked that option, so good news there. Anyway, for this week's poll, I might sit down and work with the orthography, since I guess I'm going to have some time on Monday. I have to do some translation tomorrow. Anyway. Disappointment all around, but you know, if you're looking for something to do this weekend, starting Friday, tomorrow there is a movie coming out called Superman, and you know, we don't want to spoil anything, but this is me and Jessie's latest project. So, if you want to go and hopefully see our names in the credits, if not, they know what's going to happen. And maybe hear or see something, and you know, go check it out. Oh man, Kopikon is so good. Maybe I should have Kopikon if I can't have coffee. Yeah, I haven't really been to Kansas. I think I snuck over the border once for a little bit when I was in Kansas City. But otherwise, haven't really spent time there. It's also kind of interesting that two of the biggest, like, American things crucially involve Kansas. There's Superman and the Wizard of Oz. Oh my God, Dark Horse, hello! Oh man, Jessie's going to be doubly disappointed that she missed you. Oh, I'm so sorry. We always love seeing you here, Dark Horse. We miss your regular participation. Incidentally, Dark Horse, if you find yourself in Edinburgh, Scotland on October 10th, Kopikon 2, we'll put you on a chair and carry you around. Has anybody ever been put on a chair and carried around? I haven't. I'm going to look at some more words to enter for ones that only have one with just the minute we have left. Maybe I'll just do one. Oh my gosh, only one R word? Only one R word? Let's get another R word. That'll be the last thing that we do. Oh, I don't remember. We were talking about doing something with that. To push makes sense. Oh, well, I'm glad to know that you've been watching, Dark Horse. Yeah, I can't do anything about work schedules. Okay, I'm gonna try this out. Rug. This comes out as rug. Okay. So push. Let's grab a verb that ends with a stop. Maybe I should do it this way. Well. Nasal, nasal. Wow. We only have... Oh my gosh. All the other verbs have noun in them. Alright, whatever. We'll figure it out. Okay. Rug. It's probably rugav, rugav. Rugbo. What happens in that instance? Oh. Rugbo. How about with T? Oh. Oh. Wait a minute. That's a mistake. Brutto. Okay. Nerd. Oh. Hang on a sec. Hey, Jess. It's to the very end of the stream. Do you want me to put you on speaker? Hey, everybody, it's Jessie.
Hello. I hear myself speaking back. That's weird.
Oh, there.
But I'll let you go so you can finish the stream.
Oh, everybody's saying hi, Jessie, and we love you.
Aw, thank you. Well, I will actually get to see you soon. I'm headed to the car right now.
Oh, well, that's very exciting. Yeah, I was I was entering a verb, and just as
In Loh Akish?
yeah, just as a way to finish off, and Dark Horse popped in right at the very end.
Oh, Dark Horse. I missed them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently, Dark Horse watches after the stream. Anyway, but
Okay.
I see that we don't have an example of what happens to a G when it comes in front of a H, so we have to run it through Lexergy. It's going to be a little bit of a deal. But anyway,
Okay. What verb was it?
rug, to push. I got something entered for every single letter,
Oh, nice.
and also I went ahead and resolved the poll. It was the one that you wanted, so all good.
Excellent. All good all around. So yay.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm gonna end the stream. So say goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. Hopefully I'll be there next Thursday.
Yep. Fingers crossed, and let us hope. So
Yay.
thanks for coming, and we'll see everybody. Bye bye.